Go.
Hi, I am Stephanie Duffy. I am a college and career pastor's wife at the Fossil Creek Community Church, and I've been asked to share my testimony with you. I became a pastor's wife at a very young age. It was probably about 2003. I was about 24 years old, and I had no real church background. We did not go to church when I was younger, and I just kind of jumped in to being a pastor's wife. And I really struggled. I knew I loved God at this time, but I really struggled to find my place in the church. I had no real idea what it was like to be a pastor's wife, and I struggled finding my spot with understanding God, having a relationship with God. And it took years of this. We lived in Grand Saline at the time, and it was a small family church, so it was easy because I was always surrounded by family to do the right thing, to go to all the functions we needed to be the perfect pastor's wife that I needed to. After about 5 years, we moved to Fort Worth, and for me, that changed. I struggled in the Fort Worth church. It wasn't our home community church. It was all new people, and I didn't really know how. I suffered a lot of anxiety and depression, especially in dealing with people. And for me, I sat in church, and a lot of frustration and a lot of resentment grew during this period, during these years. And as my husband grew in this church and became a deacon and then became the college and career pastor, I struggled because I was left behind. I didn't know how to function. I didn't know how to talk to people, and it was a frustration for me. And resentment grew, and in our marriage, it took its toll. And at the same time, we're dealing with a mentally ill daughter in our home. At the time, we didn't realize that she was mentally ill. We just thought it was an addiction, and we had put her through various rehabs. These years were a difficult time for us, and we had a lot of infighting and a lot of secrecy, that no one truly knew what was going on in our home because we chose not to tell anyone until it all blew apart in 2013. And in 2013, everything just blew up. And David and I, which is my husband, we separated during this time. And we split and divorced after 18 months of being apart and completely shutting God down. I began to pray just small prayers of having a good day at work, of just being able to get through a day at work. And then that's when God had that small door opening in my life, and he slipped through, and he changed my life. When I began those small prayers, something in me changed, and I knew I didn't want to live that way, and I knew that something was wrong. Something was wrong with the way I was living, and I wanted to change it. So it took from that moment that I changed everything. I changed completely everything that I was doing, and I opened the Word for. In truth, I had read the Word before, but I had really, truly opened the Word at this time, and I looked, and I said, God, whatever it is, teach me everything you know. Everything you know, because I knew I had made a mistake. I knew I had lost everything that I had held close to me. God, change me. And I opened the Word, and I began to study, and everything I could get my hands on, a hold of, I read through videos and sermons in various churches, anything and everything. God fed to me, and he began to change who I was and my outlook, and he changed how I looked at marriage and how I looked at family and how how I looked at just myself. And he changed how I prayed and even tithed and gave. And during these months, there were times that I tried to jump ahead of God, and it was a really bad experience. I knew that I'd wanted my family back. I knew that I'd wanted my husband back. And I tried to jump in front of him, and he put a stop to it. And it was a disaster. So I did what he told me to do. Is I stood, and I prayed, and I read, and I began to form a relationship with God, a true relationship. And after, about 7 or 8 months, David and I began to talk to each other again on a parent level, and then a friendship level, and then a miracle happened, and God began to put us back together, and the feelings changed, and he worked it worked our relationship to where it is today, that we are remarried, and we have been remarried for over a year now, and our family is back together, and our ministry is growing and it's thriving. But it wouldn't have happened without God stepping in and just changing who I was. So I offer that word of encouragement. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter where you are in life, and it doesn't matter how much you have failed. When you truly turn to him, man, he can change and make so many miracles in your life. He can change your complete life, change your outlook. And that's where I am today. And so I give all of my thanks and glory to the Father. And I encourage each and every woman who listens to this that God has a way and a plan. And just let him in your heart and in your life. Thank you.